Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Brev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 21 video. SES just put out a tweet and update online that they are adding a new patch to the game called Game Update 9. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in this patch, and there's also a lot of important stuff happening in this patch, and there's also a lot of stuff that needs to happen that hasn't been addressed yet. So I just wanted to run through all the patch notes with you guys, give my opinions on everything, and kind of give my thoughts on where they should go moving forward. Friendly reminder to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. So the patch is coming out June 19th at 4 a.m. Pacific time, so basically by the time this video is up, it's already going to be out. The first change listed under general, which I think is pretty cool, is that all versions of Legends Ivan Rodriguez, Johnny Bench, and Gary Carter will now have the Pop Time Quirk. The Pop Time Quirk is a boost to catcher players that lets them throw down to second base faster. It basically lowers the time between when they catch the ball and when they throw down. Essentially makes throwing out base runners easier. I'm a huge fan of this. Prior to this change, the only catchers in the entire game that actually had the Pop Time Quirk were the 89 Gary Sanchez and Live Series JT Real Muto. I would love to see more of this, adding more active quirks to some of the legend cards. I think it's really cool they added a Pop Time Quirk this year, so good on them. I like this change. Next, let's dive into the changes for online head-to-head. This is where some of the juicy stuff starts happening. So fix the crash that could occur if a player had a card open on screen when the other player quits. I never saw any of this, but good change. That's definitely not something that should happen. This second bullet point is kind of scary, could lead to some bad stuff down the line if they haven't fixed some other ways to freeze the game. Fixed an issue where home run replays would not play if the opponent is pressing X on PlayStation or A on Xbox. So obviously you're going to be seeing your opponent's replays more often, and this could have some negative implications, which I won't get into, but hopefully they've addressed that and just didn't put it in the patch notes. Fixed a rare crash that could occur when exiting Showdown from the program menu. That's good. Fixed an issue that could trap players in a pause menu following a pitcher injury. I actually have seen this one. It runs your timer out and you would end up forfeiting your game, so I'm glad they fixed that. This next one is pretty weird. I think their heart's in the right place, but I think they went about it the wrong way, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this change in the very next patch. Change the friendly quit accept button from square on PlayStation and X on Xbox to X on PlayStation and A on Xbox. So the reason I say their heart's in the right place is because they're kind of trying to combat some of the cheese that's been happening for years in MLB The Show. The button input to accept an opponent's friendly quit and to also forfeit their game when their timer ran out was the same. It used to just be square on PlayStation. So what people would do is they would run their pause timer all the way down to 0 and then send a friendly quit to try to trick their opponents into hitting square, thinking they were forfeiting their opponent's game when really they were accepting a friendly quit. So the reason they're changing the friendly quit accept button is to try to combat this, but I think they picked the worst possible button to change it to. X on PlayStation, A on Xbox is obviously like the main input, so I don't really understand why they would change it to this one. If you're in the pause menu and you're just clicking around like trying to warm up pitchers or whatever, and your opponent sends a friendly and you accidentally click X on PlayStation, that is going to be rough. I think it's a good change and their heart's in the right place, but I think they should have changed the button to literally anything else, and I think the more complicated the input, the better. Like if they could somehow make it to where you could only accept a friendly if you like hit both triggers at the same time, something like that would be ideal in my opinion. Or even like you had to click the right stick down to accept a friendly. I don't know, just some weird input you would never accidentally do. Like I said, I like where their heart's at with this one, but I imagine the button for this will get changed very soon after this is deployed. Fix an issue where a runner would get a free base when stealing if the batter was hit with a pitch during a late bunt attempt. Obviously that's a bad glitch in the game. Not terribly game breaking because your opponent would still like strike out or whatever, but still sucks. And then the last two bullet points are the huge ones. So this is the big one everyone's talking about. Fixed a bug that would cause players to freeze when a user would intentionally walk several batters and step off and throw to home. This is an amazing change. It's one of the first times I can recall that they're actively working on freezes, which have been plaguing the game for multiple years at this point. It is a good first step, and I'm happy that they fixed this one, but we still got a long way to go in my opinion. There are still a lot of issues with freezing. There are still multiple different other ways to freeze the game on purpose that exist right now, and they've only said they've addressed just this one in this patch. Maybe they stealth fix the other ones, but it remains to be seen. This was obviously wishful thinking, but I was kind of hoping they would come back and say something like, we figured out from an infrastructure standpoint what's causing freezes and we just eliminated them altogether. Like we've identified the problem within the servers and freezes will never happen again. That's hopefully where we're going in the future. But for now, they have fixed the most popular freeze technique, and that is a good starting place. Just hope that they continue to work on this stuff moving forward so that we eventually see a game state where freezes just don't exist at all, because they are terrible. All right, and then the last bullet point for online head-to-head, which is probably just as controversial as the freezes. It says there are no no hitting or gameplay balance changes in this update. SDS has been incredibly passive with gameplay changes this year, especially compared to last year. I think there's a correlation there. Last year they patched the game like 3 days after launch when everyone was having fun, and they got a lot of backlash for making hitting worse. So I think they're taking a more passive approach this year to make sure that they're on the right track with gameplay changes. The devs have said in the past that they are looking into things like contact swings for future gameplay patches. I will say, in my opinion, having no gameplay patch all the way up until now this year is definitely weird. I do hope they make some gameplay changes soon, and I think that they will. As far as my personal opinions gameplay wise on what I think should be changed, I'll start with the most popular 2 questions I get asked about on stream, those being, is pinpoint pitching OP and is contact swinging OP? I do think pinpoint pitching input should be nerfed, and I do think contact swing should be nerfed, but only slightly for both of them. This might be a hot take, but I don't really think pinpoint pitching input or contact swinging is necessarily game breaking right now. I think with just little tweaks they could be better for the community, but overall I don't think they're that bad. Obviously contact swing exit velocities need to be reduced, and as far as the pinpoint pitching input, one of the ideas I had was to just increase the par size to match that of analog. I think that would be a small enough nerf to kind of even the playing field in regards to pitching mechanics. There would still be upside to using pinpoint over analog because it's easier to get perfect on pinpoint if you're really good at it, but obviously that's not a perfect fix and just something I came up with quickly. Overall, I think pinpoint and contact swing should be nerfed just a little bit. Another thing that definitely needs to be changed that I haven't heard them address yet is pitcher energy when using pinpoint. There's definitely a bug in the game right now where energy does not deplete the way it's supposed to, and a lot of people are saying it's because you're using pinpoint as an interface. I've seen countless screenshots of guys 110 pitches deep into a game and still with over half their energy bar. I definitely think that needs to be fixed soon, especially in a game state where a lot of people are struggling with hitting, and working a pitch count up really high to get to an opponent's bullpen would be an additional win condition they could go after. But right now that win condition just doesn't exist because the pitcher energy is bugged. Alright, so that's it for the online head-to-head and the gameplay stuff. Again, pretty happy they're addressing freezes. I hope they continue to do that moving forward. There's some stadium bug stuff they fix here. I won't go into this stuff. And there's one more big thing I wanted to go over in these patch notes, and that is this under Road to the Show. Stats accrued by simming will no longer count towards program progression. So that means that the big Road to the Show glitch that's been so popular that everybody's been doing is now gone. The glitch has been nerfed into the ground. I'm sure another method will pop up, and I don't think this will affect the market on the whole very much, but just wanted you guys to see that this is in the patch notes. It's not going to work anymore. Finally, one nice UI change I think they made. The post-game mission list is now scrollable, showing all missions that have progressed, and will no longer show missions for programs already completed. This is a big deal for people who like to see their progress post-game. It was definitely clogged up with nonsense before, so really good change here. And then just a note at the bottom, they say there's a ton of people making cool logos in stadiums, but if you see any offensive ones, continue reporting them. They're not going to tolerate it, and people have been banned from MLB The Show for it, so good on them. Overall, this is a pretty big patch, and I'm pretty happy with everything they're doing. I just hope they continue to push these out, maybe bi-weekly, and I definitely hope they address some gameplay stuff soon because some of it definitely needs to be addressed. And as far as freezes, we'll see what happens, man. Maybe people are discouraged enough from that one being patched that they'll stop doing it, or maybe they'll be just as prevalent with the other methods that are out there. It remains to be seen, but I'm sure all of you guys are in agreement with me that I hope freezes just go by the wayside at some point this year. It's about time they're gone. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. Let me know down in the comments section below what you think of these patch notes, if they hit or miss on anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see y'all next time.